Okay, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and work on our first solo sci-fi skirmish game here on the channel. We're gonna use the 5 Parsec Games 3rd edition rules. I've already previously played through one game of 2nd edition already and two of 3rd previous to this. We're gonna head set this game in my own version of the Dead Zone universe. That game by Mantic Games. We're going to go ahead and incorporate elements into this, though, from different sci fi universes, including book series, movies, other games, as well as TV, with our main influence being the TV show Killjoys. If you have never seen Killjoys, it is an excellent show about a group of bounty hunters out in the fringes of space. Our 6 characters are going to all be Killjoys based off the world of Westerly, and they will be out hunting criminals throughout the Ignius Sub Sector and the areas beyond. Killjoys are assigned bounties, and so they will go out and secure these bounties, and that's what we will be doing throughout this campaign as well. So let's go ahead and run through some character creation. All 6 crew members will be female humans. The first, we're going to have to get ourselves 2d10. All members will start with a reaction of 1, a speed of 4, a combat skill of 0, a toughness of 3, and a savvy of 0. So these can be increased through our background, our motivation, or our class. Now let's roll our first 2d10 for Katie. We roll a 27, which will give us a military outpost background. Katie's going to be the leader of our crew here. So her military background will give us +1 reaction. Next will be Paige. She's the ship's pilot and a good friend to Katie. We roll a 9. A 9 is a giant overcrowded dystopian city. This gives us +1 speed. Our next character will be Haley, a former GCBS soldier. We roll a 97 for her. That is a wasteland nomad. This gives her a +1 reaction and +1 low-tech weapon. Now Deja, who I see as a character like Anara from Firefly. We roll an 81. That is a comfortable Mega City class. This will give her +1 d6 credits. Alright, now we need to roll this d6 to see how many credits we get. We get 2 additional credits. Our 5th character is Katie's sister, Ray. Ray was separated from Katie during their childhood, but so we are going to roll for her, and she rolls a 47, which is a religious cult. This gives us a patron as well as a story point. Our last character is Tiffany Doc Wynn, a former soldier also, who was a medic within the military. She goes ahead and rolls on 86. 86 is an industrial world. This will give us +1 gear. So that's a good start for the crew. We got all of their backgrounds done. Now we're going to move on to their motivations. We go back to the beginning when roll on the motivation table. Starting with 2d10 again on Katie. She rolls a 59, which is loyalty. This will give them a second Patreon as well as another story point. For story purposes, this Patreon will be known as the Rack. If you've never seen the show that the Killjoys are based on, the Rack is basically the leadership of the Killjoys. For Paige, we roll a 69. This is revenge. This gives Paige 2 experience points as well as a rival. Let's go ahead and roll Deja next. We roll a 77. 77 is faith. This is going to give us +1 rumor as well as +1 story point. It's starting to rack up those story points. Those will come in handy as the game progresses. Alright, now we will roll for Haley. Haley rolls a 69. So that is also revenge. This will give her, obviously, 2 XP and another rival to our crew. We're going to go ahead and roll up Ray's background, our motivation now. She rolls a 40 right on the dot. This will give us another rumor as well as a story point. And finally for Tiffany, Tiffany rolls an 87. This is power. Tiffany is all about accumulating the power that she needs to complete her objectives. Alright, that gives her +2 XP and gives us another rival. We've really racked up rivals at this point. But luckily we have some Patreons and story points. Now, we'll move on to our classes. We go back to the beginning and use 2d10 to generate these as well. These hopefully will increase some of our stats as well as give us more equipment. So starting with Katie, she rolls an 85, which gives her the Nomad class. That gives us +1 gear, and I see this as fitting really well in with the story I've kind of developed for Katie in my head. She was a former soldier out here on the fringe who then becomes a mercenary, and then she eventually joins the Killjoys after encountering another member of the Rack. So yeah, I like this background. It's developed real well. Now Paige, who also has a military background as a pilot. She rolls a 43 43 is a negotiator, which doesn't really fit well in with the pilot background, but we can use it as something she did in the military as well. And we have to take the dice as they fall. Alright, this gives us another patron as well as another story point. Now Deja. For Deja, we roll a 94, which is a punk. For 2, this gives us plus 2 XP and another rival. Halfway through these are the rolls and we still haven't seen a single stat increased. This could end up biting us in the butt. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at Haley now. Alright, Haley rolls an 80, which is a bounty hunter. I see Haley as probably being the first of the Killjoys. Then she helped Katie form this team. Alright, the bounty hunter will give us a plus 1 speed bump, so our first stat increase here. It gives us one more rumor and another low-tech weapon. So the low-tech weapon will come in handy as well. Next, Ray, the ship's mechanic. Ray, as we've discussed, is Katie's sister. She has mechanical aptitude. Why Katie brought her in to be one of the Killjoys. She rolls an 18 for her class, which is a soldier. It's probably how her and Katie got reacquainted with her being a soldier. Alright. This increases her combat skill by 1, so we get another stat increase. That's good. And it gives us another 1d6 credit. So we're going to go ahead and get that d6. And we'll roll that right now. And we get a 6, giving us 6 additional credits. Now, Tiffany, finally, remember, the group's medic. She rolls an 82, which is also a bounty hunter, so she will get a plus 1 speed, one more rumor, and a third low-tech weapon. These 3 low-tech weapons should mean that everyone on the team will end up getting a gun. That's extremely helpful, especially since we didn't get a huge amount of stat increases. So, at this point, this is how each of our characters is going to look. Katie's going to have a reaction of 2, a speed of 4, a combat skill of 0, a toughness of 3, and a savvy of 0. Paige has a reaction of 1, a speed of 5, a combat skill of 0, a toughness of 3, and a savvy of 0. Deja has a reaction of 1, a speed of 4, a combat skill of 0, a toughness of 3, and a savvy of 0. Haley will get a reaction of 2, a speed of 5, a combat skill of 0, a toughness of 3, and a savvy of 0. Ray gets a reaction of 1, a speed of 4, a combat skill of 1, a toughness of 3, and a savvy of 0. And finally, Tiff gets a reaction of 1, a speed of 5, a combat skill of 0, a toughness of 3, and a savvy of 0. So that's what all of our characters' stats will look like. Alright, what else did we get in this? So, each crew member gives us a credit on top of this other credits we rolled for, giving us a total of 14 credits. We have 2 Patreons, 4 rivals, 4 rumors, and 5 story points. Now, let's go ahead and move further into this book, and we'll go ahead and roll for the details of our ship. Again, it is a 2d6 chart. So our ship is, no matter what we roll, will be heavily modified. It could be a colony ship, it could be a science ship. It doesn't matter. It will be Katie's personal ship that she's had for a while, and she spent a lot of time modifying it, much like the Millennium Falcon or the Serenity from Firefly. So she is a well-worn ship no matter what, and she's much loved, and she's going to be called the Black Widow. Alright, so we roll an 86, which will give us a worn-out colony ship. Though heavily modified by Ray, the ship will have 25 hull points and a debt of 1d6 plus Tony. So we roll it. Let's go ahead and roll that d6, and we get a roll of 3. This gives us a 23 debt for the ship, and it has standard issue traits. Alright, now let's add some flavor details to our crew here. This might give us some more ideas on how the crew originally met, and as well as help us develop the story. So, we roll a 74. This means that we met through a previous job. Probably a job put together by Haley, but Katie had more combat experience. So she, out here on the fringe, so she ended up leading the team. Since Haley is a former GCPS member, she's not been out here on the fringe long, and Katie's grew up here their whole life, so she has a better idea how things operate out here. Alright. Now, what are they best characterized as? We'll go ahead and roll these 2d6 again. 2d10 again. And we roll a 65, which is somewhat honorable bandits. This really doesn't fit into the story that we've already been giving them, but we have to take the dice as they land. So we're going to figure out how we can incorporate this into our story. And I'm sure it will work out. Maybe it's that the people on the planets that aren't westerly kind of view killjoys as bandits because they come into their worlds and they just shoot them up trying to capture people that those people don't find as criminals, right? That could be bandits, right? Alright, well, we kind of skipped past the equipment section, so let's go ahead and roll back there and roll the equipment up for this crew. Alright, so normally we get 3 rolls on the military table, 6 rolls on the low-tech weapon table, 2 gear rolls, and 1 gadget roll. Alright, so we're going to get 3 additional rolls on that low-tech weapon table from our crew members, bringing our 3 rolls to 6 rolls. Our 1 gear roll gets increased to 2 as well because of, I believe, Tiffany. We didn't get any additional gadget rolls though. So our first roll is a 62, giving us an auto rifle. Then we roll a 58. This will give us a needle rifle. One more military equipment. We're going to roll a 62 again. So a second auto rifle. Now the low-tech weapon table. Our first roll is a 22. which gives us a scrap pistol. Pistols are almost exactly how they sound, very scrappy. Next we roll a 5, which is a handgun. That will be a lot better than those scrap pistols. Alright, then we roll a 23, another scrap pistol. And then a 26, a third scrap pistol. 3 of our low-tech weapon rolls almost useless. But we roll a 56, which gives us a colony rifle. That will come in very handy. We have one more roll, which we roll a 10, which gives us a handgun. That will also come in handy. So our crews kind of come together at this point. We're not going to go ahead and add any of the planet details for this because they're going to go ahead and be headed out on a mission, and the mission that they're going on will be on a world that I've already encountered. Oh, we do have to roll for their gear and their gadgets. Let's go ahead and roll those. Our first roll on the gear table is a 74, which is a med patch. Our second roll from Tiffany, which is a 71, which gives us a second med patch. Way to go, Doc. You're already doing your job, coming in prepared. We don't get any extra gadgets from any of our backgrounds, motivations, or classes, so we just get one roll, which we roll an 82. This gives us a sonic emitter. This completes all of our equipment at this time. Alright, see you on the fringe.
Arvalor 8. What a shithole. Figures we would need to go to that backwater world. It attracts nothing but scum, and if Graves is anything, he is scum. The Syndicate controls much of the planet's surface still. Us killjoys don't normally go there. And recently there have been rumors of new alien invaders. But orders are orders, page hit it.